Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is the second entry in the acclaimed Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. The game was released on November 24th, 1992, over here at least in America, for the Sega Mega Drive, or Sega Genesis as it was known in the West, which was later re-released in 2013 for the iOS and Android, with the remake done by Christian Whitehead. The main reasons why I wanted to cover this game this year was because 2020 marks the 20th anniversary of the game's release, and in honor of the 28th anniversary, I'm going to be talking about everything that I love about the game. To its development, the design of the levels, the music, everything that boils together that makes one of my favorite games of all time. After the success of Sonic the Hedgehog, it was only natural to expect a sequel of the game. Though many assumed the original team were already scheduled to spearhead the second entry in the series, right off the bat problems arose that would turn the production of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 into a massive disagreement. During the production of Sonic 2, there was a bunch of arguments between the Japanese and American teams, which basically caused them to split up into what they interpreted to be their version of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. The people back at home in Japan were working on what would later become Sonic the Hedgehog CD, which was a failed add-on for the Sega Genesis that could play CDs. You know, it's kinda in the name. And the people were working over in America at STI, or Sega Technical Institute, or what would later become Sonic the Hedgehog 2. During the development of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, there was also moments where they wanted to include a new main character. This is where Miles Prower was born, later named Tails. To match the simplistic nature of Sonic the Hedgehog, he basically acted as a player too in the game, as Yuji Naka wanted to include built-in multiplayer. There was originally planned to be 18 zones in the original game. There were other ideas that were planned to be in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, but ended up becoming into Sonic CD, which is where the time travel mechanic started from, where there was going to be multiple zones with the good future and bad future, along with the past version, at least according to... God, I'm bad with Japanese names. Hirokazu Yasuhara. That's how you say it? Hold on, let me look it up. Yeah, that's how you say it, yeah. As there was shown off concept art at a game design presentation, the American team was working on Sonic the Hedgehog 2. There were multiple prototypes shown off. The first ever prototype shown off is Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the Nick Arcade prototype.
Well, this is a Rock'em Sock'em Adventure sequel where the evil Dr. Robotnik is up to his old tricks again, and it's up to Sonic to rescue his furry woodland friends. This game has multiple zones, and today on Sonic, our expert challenge is to get 25 rings in Zone 1.
This is one of the first ever instances of the public ever seeing Sonic the Hedgehog 2, as this was shown off months before the game's release. Each zone uses music from Sonic 1, further proving that the fact that this game was built off of Sonic the Hedgehog 1. There is a large amount of raw code contained within the ROM. If Tails dies, the camera will follow him as he respawns until he goes off screen. There are also instances where Tails gets hit and you lose rings, as this is meant to be a competition for Nick Arcade, and it was probably meant for such. Now, I'm not going to go into the exact details about this, as Cybershell has done a much better job at explaining it than I ever will, and into much greater detail about the prototypes, of how they differentiate from each other. There is, of course, the later Simon Y prototype with different graphics, and as such with older AI scripts with Tails. This is honestly by far one of the most interesting betas to look up, as there's so much content that was planned for this game, but that's just all lost to time. But luckily, there is a page that has it. I'll leave a link in the description below to the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 development process done by Sonic Retro. Shout out to those guys over there. You did my job better than I would. Now this is the part of the video where I talk about everything that I actually love about the game, and not the development. However, the development process is probably one of my favorite parts of the game, because it is that interesting. You know something that hits as much as the game? A soundtrack, baby. Come on! You got my man Masato Nakamura, who composed the Sonic the Hedgehog OST, came back once again with the Fire Heat from Sonic 2. And every song you've been hearing in this video is from Sonic the Hedgehog 2, from the remastered versions. Now it is very, very slightly different when it comes to the sound, but you can tell it is much cleaner in the remaster. Rather than going with his philosophy for Sonic 1, as he wanted to make it like a film score, for Sonic 2 he decided to do one thing: treat it as another album for his band. As for those who aren't in the know, Masato Nakamura is part of a band Dreams Come True, and it is very, very apparent that his music is very similar to that in Sonic 2. This is the part of the video where I'm going to be playing some of my favorite tracks from the game. So can I get a title card? Thanks, man. Roll the music. Chemical Plant Zone is nothing short but iconic, as it has a heavy bass line and hits you with that strong melody that just sticks to you throughout the whole zone. And with one of my personal favorite parts is the breakdown, as it repeats itself over and over with this catchy tune that just catches you in the zone level. And it's something that I can't really explain, I just gotta play it for itself, dog. This is amazing. I don't know how the Sega Genesis was able to produce this kind of sound. Aquatic River Zone, while not one of my favorite zones in terms of the soundtrack, is still another catchy tune with that strong bass that just hits you real hard, and something that Sega Genesis can somehow produce as the Sega Genesis's sound chip, that thing, I don't even know what that's called. But this thing basically carries the OST. And now you have the next one being Casino Night Zone, another iconic song from the OST. This one is focused more on having a jazz vibe to it, as you can hear that strong saxophone throughout the entire song. And it's easily probably one of my favorite in the OST. Hilltop Zone might be one of the worst zone in terms of the OST because of how grating the saxophone is. This is easily my least favorite because of the instrumentation and how grating it can get. That's not to say the song is bad at all, it's just probably the instrumentation choices were not the best. Mystic Cave Zone is another iconic zone within the OST, as it brings a lot of similarities to the Inspector Gadget theme song for some reason. But other than that, this has a strong bass line with heavy brass and a saxophone part within the song. And also that one line from the Dwayne and Brando rap makes the song a lot better. I'm not gonna play it because of copyright, but look it up yourself. Allow me to skip ahead because Oil Ocean Zone is pretty forgettable in terms of its music. I want to talk about Metropolis Zone. While the zone itself may not be very good, the music certainly is, with the guitar being the main part of the track and it hitting you with the heavy bass guitar as well within it. It is easily another favorite of mine. Let's skip to the final zone, Death Egg Zone, with the final boss being the Death Egg Robot, where it comes in with an ominous, brass, heavy song, and it shows how ominous it is by within the gameplay of the zone, because you only have one ring, and you possibly have 3 lives. And if you lose all of those lives, it is game over, back to title screen with you. And I think this hits hard because of, well, the tone of the song and how ominous it can be, as if you get hit, it's restart all over again with you back to the beginning of the zone with what the gameplay gives you, and the zone as well. And as you take the final hit onto the Death Egg Robot, you escape out barely, and you get this kind of relaxing but melancholy sounding song, which is a cover of Dreams Come True song, Sweet Sweet Dreams. It comes in right after to show that you basically triumphed Robotnik's Death Egg, and that you made it out. With the final parts coming in with a medley to go over and reminisce your adventure that you just went on. Alright, now we're here for the actual part of the thing that I love of this game, you know, the gameplay aspect of it. Sonic 2 is a physics and momentum based platformer, while Sonic 1 did have an emphasis on speed. The sequel outdoes it in almost every single way when it comes to momentum and physics. Sonic 1 is a platformer with speed being another aspect of it, while Sonic 2 is speed first, platformer second. As for 1, getting top speed is much more rewarding and exhilarating in this game in comparison to Sonic 1. There's a lot more ways to get instant speed as well, with the new Spin Dash move. A move being a mainstay in future titles. As the game starts you out, it drops you into Emerald Hill Zone, as this asks one of the many tutorial levels in this game, as the zone suddenly teaches you things as you move along, even down to the name has subtlety in it, as if the player is skilled enough, you could get all 7 Chaos Emeralds within the first 2 acts. Chemical Plant acts as another one of those tutorial zones, as this one teaches the player more of high speed mixed with platforming, as the previous zone had more platforming than speed. It had a more balanced approach. This zone, however, is showing how exhilarating and rewarding top speed is. While the platforming is okay, it sort of provides as a breather from the zone, even if it comes off as a massive pace breaker to first time players. Aquatic Ruin Zone is supposed to teach the player about multiple pathways, one being the water section at the bottom of the level, and the other part being mostly dry. And if the player is skilled enough, they could go throughout the entire zone without even touching the water, showing how multiple paths can benefit you, and how sometimes there are moments where, as the game will make you switch routes near instantly. Casino 9 Zone acts as a more slower paced zone, at least in comparison to the zones prior, and is a much more platforming heavy zone. as it shows the player that there will be much more slower moments and a lot more rings to obtain. There's also probably one of the biggest factors of what makes the zone so well beloved, the gambling aspect. And if you already have Supersonic unlocked, you can gain it near instantly by one of the nearest slot machines. Hilltop Zone is a much more vertical based level, as it shows the player platforming from the bottom to the top, such as the lava section. Mystic Cave Zone teaches the player to not hold right the entire time. That's it. There's a bunch of spikes that punish you for holding right the entire time, and there's an infamous bed of spikes within Act 2. While in the remastered it did get removed and replaced with Hidden Palace Zone, it was still a massive punishment to players who held right the entire time expected to win. Oil Ocean just reinforces the same ideas as previous zones. Moving on. Metropolis Zone, is being one of the final zones of the game, is supposed to test you and your skills you learned throughout the game. Is what I would say if the zone was good. This zone suffers from a lot of things, such as dragging on for way too long, being 3 acts long, and there being a lack of checkpoints, and with some of the most BS enemy placement within this entire game. It all comes down to being one of the worst zones of the game, and it honestly really sucks, because I really like the music in this zone. Sky Chase Zone doesn't really teach anything, as it acts more of as a cinematic level, or as a sort of transition zone in between Metropolis Zone and Wing Fortress Zone. Wing Fortress Zone reinforces the same ideas as previous zone, but also actually tests the players in their skills, although you can easily cheese you with the shield. Oops. And finally, Death Egg Zone. Death Egg Zone is a gauntlet boss fight with no rings, and is a fight between Silver Sonic and Dr. Robotnik. And if you get hit, it's back to the beginning of the level. As you finish off Dr. Robotnik, there's an explosion in the sky seen from the Death Egg Zone, and Tails notices and starts off the tornado and comes to grab Sonic to, well, save him at least. That's in the bad ending, quote unquote bad ending, to say the least. And once again, you defeated Robotnik, and the credits begin to roll. This is one of my favorite games of all time, and one that I would easily just pop in any day just to replay it all over again. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see y'all in a couple weeks, maybe longer, and happy 2021, and take it easy.